Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, spending quality time with friends and family with some quality food. This is episode 6. We had Bill Mulvey from Boston, Massachusetts on. He's a longtime friend of Scott and I, and it was a great time. Sometimes we couldn't figure out where we wanted to go, but we always found our way, and it was highly entertaining. So we hope you guys enjoy it as much as we did. If you guys have anything to add, anything you want to say about stuff we talk about, tell us we suck, tell us we're great, give us ideas, send us music to play. It's up to you guys. You just hit us up. Hit us up on our website at rvbpodcast.com or hit us up on Gmail at redvbluepodcast@gmail.com. One thing I really like about this episode is we asked Bill some personal questions and try to get, in-depth knowledge on our guests on a personal level, which I think we'll be doing more in the future. I'm definitely liking it. It makes it more human to each person involved, and hopefully it does the same for the listeners. So we want to try to get to know these people a little more than just bringing them in to argue, which I think it turned out really great, and we hope you guys do too. So sit back and enjoy the show. Let us know what you think. See ya. And we're back, episode 6. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Andrew, how you doing? How was your birthday?
My birthday was amazing. I got wasted. No, I didn't get wasted, but I did go out and celebrate and, show my patriotism and my love for the Marine Corps. What about you, Scott?
Great.
Did you?
I did. I did all of those things. Had a great time.
So you did get wasted. Mm-hmm. Let's hope your mom is not listening to this episode of the podcast.
No, I had a glass of wine and ran around with a flag.
Wait, you drank wine? How pretentious!
I'm trying to help out my wife because she can't stand my beer breath.
Oh, she doesn't like. Does she like beer?
No.
Oh, she hates beer.
Yeah.
That's very feminine. I like that. I get angry when women say they love beer.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I was just trying to be sexist.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got, I want to wait a little bit, but we've got Bill waiting in the wings. I'm excited to bring him on. He is actually somebody I have kept in touch with, fairly, not, I guess, relatively well compared to the other guys, but...
Mm-hmm. I just got to see Bill for the first time since he got out of the Marine Corps in I think like 2005 or 2006. He holds a reunion party every year, and this was my first time actually making it all the way out there to Boston. But it was such a good time. It was a huge turnout from our friends in the Marines. Would have been nice if you'd have made it, Andrew.
To the Summer Ripa.
Summer Ripa, that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I bet that was a blast. I'm definitely going next year.
Yeah, I've never been so dangerous playing with fireworks in my life.
Right.
Isn't that right, Bill? Wasn't that a good time?
Oh man.
Hold on. Scott, you did it again. Every freaking week, man. You idiot. You're supposed to wait. You wait like 4 minutes.
That was fucking cute, dude. I was like, not even a proper introduction?
I know, he just asked the question. Scott, you idiot! Well, I guess you're here now, Bill. So, how's it going? God, I'm so furious.
It's going great.
Next time you're going to give everybody notice about your big party, right?
Yeah, so I didn't expect, I throw it out every year, and I get, 4 or 5 people that say they're going to make it, and then we usually show up, and so I wasn't expecting to get such a good turnout this year, and so I have it every August, or I try to have it in August, and I didn't start planning it this year until June, which doesn't give people enough time to buy plane tickets and all that good shit, but this year I think I'm going to start planning it in April or May and give people plenty of time to plan around it. because it was. I mean, this past year that we had in 2018, it was our 11th annual Summer Ripper. So if you're gonna say it right. It's not summer and then Ripper.
I did do that.
So it's the Summer Ripper. SUMMAHRIPPAH.
Ah, the Summer Ripper.
Yeah. So this year was our 11th year. And I don't know how many.
Yeah, we had
how many guys we have out.
I think it was 9 or 10 of us.
Yeah.
That's just
really
people from the
turnout.
Marines, So they always have friends from Boston and stuff.
Yeah, so I met a bunch of those guys when I lived there for a while with you. That was awesome, man. Those guys are great. It was a good time.
Yeah, man, it was a wild time when you were out here. I mean, we were still in our young, crazy days, and we did some partying,
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was a time where we weren't drinking when I was at that. I don't think there was. I just think it was constant. Yeah, Bill is so for people listening, Bill is from Boston. He is a terrible about giving notice. Bill lives like 18,000 miles away from everybody, and then he says, "Hey, my party's here in 3 days. Can you make it?"
3 days.
But hey, Bill. So why don't you?
I was just kind of on the fence. Maybe you got the 3-day notice. I was on the fence about inviting you.
Sounds like a typical
I know.
Republican exaggeration.
Shut the hell up, Scott.
No,
Hey, Bill.
Wait a minute.
Now, we should mention that this is our first guest. Bill's our first guest that actually, he's a Trump supporter, a Republican, agrees with Andrew instead of me. So
he is
he'll finally have an opportunity to maybe win an argument.
Yeah, he's our first right in the head guest.
I have a solid brain in between my ears. That's why. I mean, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I didn't start bashing you, man. But if you want to start throwing rocks, I'll throw boulders, baby.
Well, it was Andrew who made the exaggeration. So
yeah,
that I'm awesome, or
that you only gave 3 days notice.
Yeah, that was rude. Bill, I apologize. I'd say that's one of the better qualities about me being a conservative is the ability to apologize and, admit when I'm wrong.
This is true.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if Trump would just stop apologizing and start doing his job.
Shut the hell up, Scott. Anyway, so
he's constantly apologizing for everything.
I will tell you this. And this is not even a joke. It comes out funny, but I'm extremely good at apologizing because I've had to do it so much in my life. I've had to give so many apologies.
Well, that's good that you apologized, Andrew.
It's not good that I'm always in a situation where I need to apologize is the problem.
No.
Yeah.
But that's less and less the case, right?
Oh, no, it's getting worse. No, just kidding. What do you want to talk about today, Scott?
Oh, well, maybe you go first this time.
Well, the problem...
So we still haven't come up with anything. Because I've been begging for, like, a lineup or, a little bit of a heads up on what's going to happen here. Now I'm just in it blindsided. And it sounds like you guys are all on the same page, so good. We'll all sound like idiots.
Yeah, that's about right, too. That's why I asked Scott to go first, because I've got nothing.
Well, there is one thing that I was interested in is some people, they even people on the left, they watch Fox and Friends because it's, it's a show that's essentially just catered to the president. They're basically talking to him the whole time, and they, before the election, for the 2 weeks leading up to the election, they talked about, they mentioned the caravan an average of 22 times. And the day after the election, they mentioned it once. And I was just wondering what happened. I mean, the caravan's closer now than it was then. I wonder why it's not an issue anymore.
I don't know. Maybe it's a ratings thing. Maybe, they were told to quit mentioning it as much. I honestly don't know. I watch Fox and Friends not because they cater to the president, but because I find it entertaining. Like, I think it's funny.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is it bad that we have one
network
outsourced that goes along with Trump? I mean, is that so bad? I mean, you guys have about 3,000
right, that's true.
Against Trump. I mean, can we have one? Fox and Friends, please.
Well, that's not the point though. The question is, why did they just stop talking about the caravan all of a sudden? Is it because the elections are over?
I don't know.
And immigration's a divisive issue.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I just thrown it out there.
Well, okay. So that topic
also,
is
what happened to my tax cut that Trump said I was going to get before the election?
You know what's funny?
10% for middle class.
You know what's funny is I know a bunch of people, and this is anecdotal. Obviously, you can be like, oh, that's crock. But I know a bunch of people who've benefited from that, who have said they saw it.
Not from the one that he said that he was going to pass in the before the election. This is something that he said like a month ago, that they were going to pass a new tax cut for middle class people, even though Congress was out of session until after. So he clearly doesn't even know what he's talking about, first of all. And then second of all, he's just lying. He's just saying things that people are going to like hearing.
No, I think there's an article that's probably hyperbole. There's an article that talks about how Trump has come through with a ton of stuff that he said he was going to do, like it or not, wrong or right, doesn't matter. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. So, if that didn't happen, that may be...
Well,
I have no clue. I have no clue why.
Congress would have to be in session for it to happen.
Well, I mean, I couldn't care less about the issue that we're talking about, but I'm just saying. I don't know. Bill, what do you think? Why do you think Scott hasn't seen that tax return? Do you think he did his? You think he just did his taxes wrong?
No, that's not.
Bill, did we lose Bill?
Nope, sorry about that, guys. But
for those of you who don't know, Bill's driving around in his car right now.
Yeah, I'm driving, but eyes are on the road, two hands on the wheel.
That's right.
I'm sorry, guys. I missed that. What was the question?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. He was asking if it doesn't matter.
Bill. So Scott was railing against Trump for this most recent tax. What was it, Scott? Like a tax refund he was going to give,
it's just how he lied. It's just how he just says whatever he thinks he needs to say to get what he wants.
Well, hold on. Get to the funny part. Get to the funny part
about passing a tax cut that before the election. This was like 3 weeks ago, saying that he's going to pass a tax cut, big middle class tax cut, 10% across the board, before the election, even though Congress wasn't going to be in session until after the election. And so I was saying, what happened to that tax cut that he promised us? And,
well, he's still pushing for it.
Okay, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Bill, all I had said was, do you think it's possible Scott had just done his taxes wrong and that's why I didn't see anything?
But Scott, I mean, the FBI's probably after him because he's probably trying every loophole out there to avoid paying his taxes.
That's true.
And,
that's true.
Wait, probably giving it to the Mexican drug cartel or something.
Is there
to try and
something?
get more immigrants into our great country?
Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with paying the lowest amount of taxes that you can legally pay?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Oh well, why?
So why was it such a big deal that with his tax, they wanted his tax records before the election?
Well, yeah, just because people, people.
So is it Trump's fault that he just exercised all the loopholes that are out there?
No, because his tax returns, they're just going to show people. They're going to give people an idea of how much he has contributed to society. Some people care about that.
That's true. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but I think they'll also, shed light on other things. They're extremely complex. According to him, nobody even understands them. So why? Anyway, did you guys see that press conference the day after the election?
Oh, after the midterm. Sorry, for some reason when you say election, I'm like, dude, this was 2 years ago.
Yeah, the midterms.
Midterms.
2 days ago, right?
Yeah.
On the 6th.
You're talking about with Jim Acosta?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, dude.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I don't think I think Trump could have said stuff differently, but I think there's too many people ignoring what Jim Acosta was doing. I think that was crap too.
Yeah, I kind of agree. You know, I like Jim Acosta, but it's like you can't just
usurp
be rude and interrupt other reporters who are trying to ask questions, and I don't know. I think to some extent you want to be firm and try to have your questions answered, but there's a certain point where
you just
make you look bad.
Yeah, you just give the answer that he gave and report on it.
Yeah, right.
Bill,
right.
What do you what was your opinion on that?
Because I missed that whole interview.
Okay, all right. So Bill came completely ill prepared to talk about this issue that
back to just going in it blind, guys. Make me sound like an idiot.
So Bill, when's the last time you paid your taxes? When's the last time you paid your taxes?
What do you mean paid my taxes?
Yeah. Go ahead and answer the question.
April
in last week's paycheck?
In March?
In last week's paycheck.
What do you think about Obamacare?
Taxes is like my least. That's pretty much the one thing I lack in is the knowledge, because it's so confusing, man.
So what did you give it any thought? Did you come up with something that you wanted to talk about, Bill?
Anything except for taxes.
Oh, anything but that. Okay, how about, all right, did you guys see this? Did you guys see Saturday Night Live last weekend?
I don't watch Saturday. I hate SNL. I don't find it funny at all.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's so crazy. It's really too bad for Republicans that they miss out on.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that.
Is that a Republican thing?
It's not even that.
I don't enjoy. It is.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, man.
No. It's Saturday Night Live isn't a Republican thing, but most comedy is liberal.
No, but I'm saying I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I don't care. I'm just saying, and this is honest. I'm not even saying this just to get you to be like, oh, okay. I'm being honest. I don't find SNL funny, aside from the political stuff. I just don't.
I don't either.
If it was,
they have a lot of different things. I mean, they're definitely hit and miss, and it depends on when you watch it. But anyway, they did a thing just last weekend where he was. It's this guy Pete Davidson. He was just giving a first impression of a whole bunch of these candidates that were going to be, elected or not the following Tuesday.
Yeah.
And one of these candidates was a guy named Dan Crenshaw, who is a Republican. He was running for as a Republican for the House of Representatives, and I think he's a former Navy SEAL, a veteran at any rate. But I think he's a SEAL, and he wears an eye patch.
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. And and so he made fun of the eye patch, and even dismissed, okay, yeah, all right, I know he lost it in war or whatever. So dismissing this whole kind of thing about is there a line there? Should he have made that joke? What do you guys think?
Bill?
Well, I mean, he can't be any worse than what Trump said about McCain.
I certainly agree with that.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about the eye patch thing, so I can't really.
Well, the fact is, he was making fun of his eye patch, and then dismissing the fact that it's because he lost it in war. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's I don't like that.
Well, you don't like it, because I don't know. I feel like the free speech, the anti-free speech people, are certainly in the media. It's revolves around Berkeley and the left.
Yeah.
And certainly when it comes to comedy, I feel like everything is on the table, and if I agree, I understand if it's not funny to you, but right. Yeah, is it some scandal?
No.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't think it's
a scandal.
Yeah, good for you guys.
Yeah, man, I think of course, people, if they are offended by, I'm not offended. I think, he could have made it humorous a different way. I just think he's an idiot. It was a stupid thing to do.
If you go to a comedy gig and get offended, then don't go to a comedy.
That's not the place for somebody who gets offended.
It's like people making black jokes. A white comedian making black jokes and a black person in the audience getting up. I think everything should be out on the table.
I agree with that. I just think, people. It annoys me on the right, on the left, I don't care. It annoys me when people bitch about it. Like, if you find it that big of a deal, don't pay money to watch them, or don't, support it by being a number for their statistics.
So this actually brings up a good subject. Did you guys ever see Brian Simpson's, one of his first bigger comedy gigs that he did? He went off, and I don't know if he made fun of a veteran or whatever, and someone out in the, a female out in the audience that was out in the Navy, she didn't know that Brian was a veteran, a Marine veteran. So he made a joke about it, and him being a veteran, he can do that. Or him just being a comedian, I think he should be able to do that. But anyway, so he started getting heckled by this girl because she was a veteran. So he kind of fed into it just a little bit to get her fired up. And he
right.
on, and she, she threw it in his face. Oh, I'm in the Navy. You should respect me. You shouldn't talk about veterans like this. And he let it go on and stood up, and then he just lit her up.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that's the thing, is that not all comics are good enough to do that. They just get overwhelmed, and they don't want to offend people. But it's nice when they know what to say, and when they're in a really strong position. In any case, right. It's true. It makes a big difference, when you are a veteran.
Yep.
So, Bill,
yeah.
What do you think about Obamacare?
It's terrible.
Is it worse than what we had before?
Oh, way worse. I mean, for the average person, it does cater to a certain group of people, but it's not the majority of people, I don't think. And
well, what about people who have pre-existing conditions?
Yeah, see, so like myself, I had in 2009, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
So it's pre-existing. Yeah.
Wow.
And I went through, the chemo, the radiation, the whole thing, and so I have pre-existing conditions. So it doesn't, even with Obamacare, it doesn't personally affect me.
Well, that's the thing, is that you might have been covered anyway, but before Obamacare, insurers were able to exclude people, just not give them coverage if they had pre-existing conditions. So it's
right. Well, people also had the option to get insurance or not get insurance.
No, you can't. You couldn't get insurance if for what you needed it for.
Oh,
if they already knew that they were going to have to foot the bill for it. Yeah. So Obamacare really helped out a lot of people in that way, and it's something that the Republican Party has been trying to get rid of for 10 years now, I suppose. Definitely for the last 2, and now they're saying they back protecting people with pre-existing conditions. So it seems like it's even Republicans are coming around on certain provisions.
Well, yeah, there's no. They should be able to work together and figure certain aspects of the healthcare bill out. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, if they start leaning the other way, then I don't see that being a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess a lot of it's because it's so popular.
Making people, making it mandatory for people to get insurance, I think that's kind of bogus.
Do you think we should? Do you think we should turn people away from the emergency room if they don't have?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you pay for that in the end.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it raises the cost.
My taxes?
Uninsured hospital room visits, emergency room visits, those get covered by people who pay into the system, people who have insurance.
Right.
So you pay for these people either way, and it's actually cheaper if you pay for their preventative care, as opposed to waiting and not letting them get insurance and then.
Yeah, but I don't think the majority of the people use it for preventative.
Well, certainly if they don't have it, they don't.
No, even if they have it, now they have to have it, and they still don't use it. So why they got to pay for it?
Yeah. The way I look at it, it's just you can reduce costs and insure more people. On the macro scale, it's just better coverage for more people. That's all. And it really it does force people to get it, but most of it's a lot of it's paid for by taxes on people who are richer than they ought to be in the first place, in my opinion.
Okay, so that's another subject. Like,
yeah, right.
Who are you to say that people are,
I just think
more wealthy than they should be?
Yeah, just anybody. Well, anybody can make that. It's anybody's opinion. You know, my opinion.
Yep.
If you own $1 billion, you know, you didn't earn all of that. You leveraged the hard work of other people, of the society that you're lucky enough to be in. Think about it. If you were in a state of nature, just out, you know, by yourself, you know, you can't create $1 billion lifestyle for yourself, you know. So at some point we gotta be realistic about how much any one person can put into the system. How many hours in the day? How hard can a person possibly work? Some people are scraping along at the bottom. Well, it's not just you that does that, though. It's other people too, you know. And a lot of, especially these days, you can create an app or something. You can, or you could just be born with it. You know? Yeah. So what I think, we should just move closer to something that's actual, like a meritocracy, where people actually get back something close to what they put into it.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the people that aren't putting into it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they should, you know, be connected with the opportunities that they have. Most people, I mean, that's the thing, is that most people want to do better for themselves.
Right. I mean, isn't that everybody's? If everybody wants to be a billionaire. I mean, anybody that says they don't want to be a billionaire is just blowing smoke up your ass. But
so you're saying that the fact that some people do better means that some people work harder, and I definitely agree with that. Some people ought to be rich, and some people really are lazy. That's true, but most people want to improve their lives.
Right, but you have to work for it. You know what I mean? You can't just keep getting handouts and. You know, I think my view on it is the people that are. I don't like people that think that they don't have to work anymore or contribute to society, and they still get all these handouts and you know, for nothing.
Me too.
Like I don't know, it's frustrating. You know, like you work your ass. I work 60 hours a week, and then a lot of my tax money is going to somebody that doesn't even bother to want to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's fair at all.
Yeah.
And if I was paying less in taxes to pay for them, I'd be a billionaire, and you'd hate me even more.
It's a paradox.
Yeah, and of course I don't hate you. I think what I think is that people like you work harder than a lot of billionaires, and it's not fair that these billionaires don't have to do anything. They don't. Well, it's as if they've done enough, and everybody. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you could get hundreds of millions of dollars from your parents, or billions of dollars from your parents. That doesn't mean you deserve it.
But now who's?
Okay, so what do you think about the lottery? You know, somebody that hits $1 million on the lottery.
Yeah, the lottery is actually that feeds into a lot of programs for you know, people that are in poverty and stuff. The downside of it is
how at one point in time somebody, whether it was inherited or they earned it.
What about at some point
strategies on how they earned it, and they worked hard to get there? I think. Yeah. Well, is there some people that took full advantage of the system or the loopholes and got rich that way? Yeah, sure.
Or they developed, they created that wealth, you know, at a time where there were no labor laws, where children were forced to work in factories, and you know, slaves worked the fields, you know, and this money still sits in family coffers.
Yeah. So I mean,
you're
I have
right
a good example.
You're right too. So
you know, there's a lot of older generation. You know, a lot of my friends' parents, they came from Italy or Ireland, and you hear these stories of them coming over here with like $30 in their pocket. And you know, I'll give you a great example here. So my best friend Mike Piccini, his father immigrated here from Italy in the late 70s, and he literally came over here with probably $60 in his pocket, and you know, he started off working. Once he got enough money, him and his brothers, they opened up this machine shop in the early 80s, and it really took off. And they got one good account working for Raytheon, building it was a machine shop. They were building these little brackets.
Nice.
And he just sold his company about 2 years ago for like millions of dollars. But he was at that shop that he started in the early 80s, working 80 hours a week for 30 years. And now he's a millionaire. I mean, he said the reason he worked so hard, his childhood dream was to own a Ferrari. And how do you do that? You just got to work for it. I mean,
yeah, I think people.
And now he has a Ferrari. He has a great house. He sold his company for millions of dollars, and every penny that he has is shown in sweat.
Yeah,
So,
I think people should be able to be millionaires, but billionaires is going too far, in my opinion. You're a billionaire, you can spend $1 million a day for almost 3 years.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Nobody's worked that hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's another example. So when Mike's father passes away, and he's going to inherit all this millions of dollars. Now, he didn't personally work for it, but somewhere along the line, he sacrificed. I mean, his father was working 80 hours a week. He couldn't make every baseball game when we were kids, or
But the same thing happens to children of poor
parents. Even though he didn't work in that machine shop, and that money came from the machine shop that his father started, who says that he doesn't deserve it?
I do. Just like the children of poor parents, their parents are working oftentimes double, 2 jobs or whatever, and they don't have much time either,
Right. Well, there's
the same thing. It's like I don't think that rich kids should have better education than poor kids.
You think that everybody should have the same?
Yeah, I think there should be one
what was
central.
That on episode? Yeah, second episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So where do you draw the line?
Oh, that's the thing, is that we draw the line in our fiscal policy, one way or the other. Right now, we're drawing it tremendously in favor of the people who are already rich, and I just think that maybe everything after 10 million a year, you're getting taxed at 90%. It used to be that way, in the 50s. The highest tax bracket was like 90%.
And like I said, we're back on taxes again, and
that's what I mean is that it's not about saying that you're not allowed to engage in this economic activity. It just means that you can only the only way to I think we should let capitalism do what it does, but then just rein in the excesses so that you're paying back anything that's truly excessive back into society.
Back into society to be used for
healthcare. Healthcare, education, for investing in the people.
And in the long term, what's the?
We have a healthier, more educated population that can be more productive economically.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's extreme parts to both sides.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Andrew?
Oh, sorry, I had fallen asleep there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, you know what?
Taxes, man.
Dude, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's one of the most uninteresting. Do you know what I actually do find interesting about the topic, though, is more of the.
To me, it's confusing.
It is confusing, but I find it more interesting because I can see where Scott's coming from. I see where you're coming from too, Bill. Because obviously,
certainly, I can see where Scott's coming from. 100%.
Yeah. I think the tough thing is, and it's such more of like a dinner table topic, because I just don't think it'll ever happen, because you'd have to get everybody to agree on what is the line, and then there's going to be people in there right now that I'm sure you could agree with this, Scott. There's going to be people in there right now who would wholeheartedly agree with you and agree with 90%, after 10 million a year, whatever it is. But then, if it were to come to fruition, if it were to become a reality and those people fell into that, they would no longer like it. I mean, I'm not saying all of them. I'm sure there's some extremely altruistic people who would be like, I'll give up everything I have to help people. But for the majority, most people, they like it in theory until it happens. And then I'm not saying you're like that. I'm just saying that would be a lot of people.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Wholeheartedly give their money away and help the cause, that's fine. That's their decision.
But of course, the people that I'm talking about, that are as rich as what I'm talking about, are such a small minority that we ought to be able to tax them if we want to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying.
You can't just do what you want. I mean, I want to do a lot of things.
I mean, if 90% of the population is going to benefit from it, that's all.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I just.
Isn't it something like 1% of the population has 90% of the money, something like that?
It's something like that. I've heard so many different statistics. Yeah. And I totally understand where you guys are coming from too. And that's the problem is that but it is we are drawing the line every time we pass a new spending bill.
Right.
And that's what the Congress and everything is all about is about drawing that collective line. And it's just been being drawn farther and farther and farther, in one direction towards the people who have enough money to fund political campaigns, on a massive scale. And so it's not surprising that our economic policies help them out.
I can definitely see that.
Cool. Well, maybe we can talk about something interesting now.
Yeah. So
thank God, man. I was about to hang up.
I think that's such a. What's crazy about that is that people. I think a lot of people do care about it, but maybe to the extent to what we just talked about, and then they're like, it is what it is. It's whatever. But the people, they get engaged when you get, whether you like them or not, you get engaged when you get somebody like President Trump, who's polarizing, and it's more like a celebrity than somebody.
Now, do you think most people like us, don't get engaged because we'll never have $10 million, so why should we even?
Yes, I completely agree with that.
That's why we don't get engaged, and somebody like Trump that's going to be affected by it, obviously he'd have more interest in it.
Yep. I agree, 100%.
Absolutely.
So again, it goes back to where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
And how many people you want to piss off?
How many people you want to piss off?
That's so true, too.
And it's true because when you raise taxes on the rich, you're pissing off some of the most powerful people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, next subject. Who picked stupid taxes to talk about?
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to talk about tax code 2.017.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, section A or B?
Section B.2. So now that we're going to be talking about something really boring, here, let me talk about it like they do on NPR. So as they were reading through the tax code, they found... Have you ever noticed that's how they talk on NPR radio?
Yeah, it depends on the show that you're listening to, but yeah.
Okay, let me try to do it. Here, I'm going to do it. And we're back after this commercial break. We have Steve Stevens on. He wrote the book, How to Become Poor in the Richest World in America. Steve. Oh, God. Their shows are so lame, man. I cannot take it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Sometimes I'll listen to it just for, I'm like, okay, let me see how boring they can get. And so I'll turn it on just to see how boring it can be.
Yeah, I have a liberal friend of mine told me that he stopped listening to NPR because he can only care so much about the life of women in Afghanistan.
That is hilarious. Does BBC have a radio show, or are they just TV?
Oh, I'm sure they're on the radio, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure, but I don't know for sure.
Right, I'm sure they are, but I'm not sure. So is BBC as do they is their show like soft spoken like that, like NPR's is, or is it different? Because I actually never checked out BBC.
Well, it's it's with English accents.
Ooh, so it's cool.
So yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They seem so much smarter.
Yeah, they are smarter. They're much smarter. Listen to us.
I think they sound like idiots.
Listen to our stupid accents.
Bill, do you think that me and Andrew have accents?
No.
Wow, that's so badass. We speak the language exactly how it's right. Isn't that kind of what that means?
Get off your high horse, there, buddy.
Yeah. I'm basically, the way that I speak is straight out of the Bible, basically.
The Old Testament or the New Testament?
Both, Bill. I revere them equally.
Amen.
Amen. Scott, don't even say anything, you heathen.
I said to that.
Oh, to that. Thank you. To that. God, we got to think of...
Hey, are you a Catholic? What's your deal, Bill?
Wait. Okay, Bill, before you answer that, can you just tell us, are you doing okay now with your medical
Oh,
stuff?
yes. So, what is it now? I'm 9 years in recovery.
That's great,
I
man.
have to go once a year for the checkups, and they do the CT scans and the blood work and all that stuff. And actually, one time, about 2 years ago, I got a bill in the mail. Now, I don't want to start talking about medical bills or taxes ever again. But,
yeah, right.
I got the bill in the mail, and my yearly checkup was like $55,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Whoa.
Now, insurance pays for that, but that's a little ridiculous. I think
That's
hospitals
insane.
and doctors take advantage of the system. And that goes back to the whole medical reform.
It does. And actually, they would make less with a single-payer system.
I mean, I'd literally have to work a whole year just to pay for that 2-hour doctor visit.
But how much did your insurance cost? All of it? I mean,
they covered everything.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I'd even have to, no copays, no nothing.
Well, glad you're doing all right, Bill. Sorry for stepping on you there,
Thank
Scott.
you.
I just wanted to find out.
No, for sure. You know, he said it was so long ago. I just assumed must have been all in the past now. But that's how long are you at? Like, what's your percentage? Like, you pretty much definitely over it, or?
Yeah. So they said when I was first diagnosed, they said that there was 90% chance of full recovery, and if I do fall into that last 10%, they would just have to treat it again, and my chances would be the same, another 90%.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
But there's a lot of side effects. You know, I have a friend that at the same exact time she got diagnosed with the same exact type of cancer. She got the same exact type of treatment that I did, the same type of chemo. But she fell into one of the side effects, which is heart failure. So we were both. So I was 28, and she was 26. So she was a little younger than me, and she ended up having to have a heart transplant from the side effects of the chemo.
Wow.
Yeah, so she fell into that 10%, and she tried it again, but it was a side effect. It wasn't, the cancer didn't come back, but the chemo took a tough toll on her heart, and she had to have, I mean, at I don't know, 29, she had a heart transplant. She almost died a couple of times. It was scary.
Well, thank
she
God.
didn't get the heart when she got it. She wouldn't have made it another 2 months.
Yeah, man.
And that's
Well,
a scary thing. She was on the waiting list for probably a year, which is scary, They're like,
Oh, yeah.
if you don't get a heart, you're going to die at 29.
yeah. Well, thank God you never got to that point.
Yep, I never got to that point. So, the health is good. 2 thumbs up. I actually just had my yearly checkup about 3 weeks ago.
Dude, that's awesome, man. We should. I should come down and we'll just pound shots to celebrate your good health.
Now you're talking.
Hey, I remember a long time ago, Bill, you were saying that you went to the doctor and you found out you had some sort of, or I don't know if you found out, but they were thinking maybe you had an allergy to alcohol. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, so that's even different. So at one of my summer rippers, I got a whole pig, and we did a pig roast. And right after that, I started to get I was throwing up, I was itching. One time, my throat closed, so I had to call an ambulance. So my pony had to call an ambulance for me, and they had to figure out they knew I was having an allergic reaction to something, so they did so many allergy tests, and they told me that I was allergic to alcohol and I could never drink a drop of alcohol again in my life. I said, well, I'll be dead pretty soon if that's the case, because that ain't gonna happen. What it ended up being is a pork allergy. So I said they said that I overdosed on pork after my pig roast. Honest to God, they said that I ate so much pork that I caused my body to start denying it.
You know why? It's because it's not kosher.
Bill is for everybody listening. Bill is a Muslim, and
Yep. I sacrificed that poor pig.
yeah, you did. You did. You atoned.
In the name of Allah.
Yeah, you covered. You atoned for everything. Everybody at that summer Ripa had done. You atoned for it with that
No,
pig.
you said it wrong. No. Okay, let's work on this again. You can't say summer Ripa.
I know. I did it on purpose.
Summer Ripa.
Okay. Summer Ripper.
Oh my God. So I just pulled up to my house, so I got to start getting ready for these. I got to fly. But can we finish this later?
Well, cool. Glad you're doing all right, Bill. We'll get this back going later. Yeah, I loved having him on the show. I thought that was awesome, and he's wide open too. It's funny, if he doesn't like something, he's like, nah. Kind of reminds me of when you did your Getting Philosophical with Dan, and he goes, no, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's too bad he won't be here for this week's Getting Philosophical.
So,
right.
With that being said, Scott.
Oh, you're not going to cue the music? Oh.
Damn it, Scott. And now, Getting Philosophical with Scott Ferguson.
Starring Scott Ferguson.
you just introduced yourself. That's awesome. I like that. It worked out well.
It's funnier if you say it like 3 times.
Okay, I'll do that next time.
So this week, I'm Getting Philosophical. So I'm just going to kind of pose a question to get started here, Andrew. As far as free will goes, and freely, deciding what to do and even like what to think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you believe in the existence of free will.
Yes.
So what if, hypothetically, what if a person was able to tell you what decisions you were going to make before you made them? What if somebody could write everything down, like a series of decisions, right before you made them, and prove to you that they knew what you were going to do before you knew it?
Okay.
Would that
mean that I don't have free will?
I mean, yeah. What would you think about that?
Can I ask a question?
Of course, yeah.
So since they're writing down everything I'm doing, or whatever, since they're saying what I'm doing before I do it, are they causing me to do it, or are they just knowing that I'm going to do it?
They're knowing you're going to do it.
Okay.
And it's in this case, maybe we'll just say it's a somewhat random call. Whether or not to push a button with your right hand or with your left hand.
Okay.
Say you're gonna push the button 100 times and freely decide which hand to use each time.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it all videotaped so that you can see that they're telling, they're marking right or left before you use your right or left. What would that what would that feel like?
It would be eerie, because I don't know if anybody's psychic, but I mean, I'm not sure. Like, are you getting at, would that make me feel like I have free will?
Right. Would that challenge your assumptions about free will?
No, I would just think that they were psychic.
But they know this before you do, so presumably just tapping into your conscious experience, wouldn't even help them.
I don't think it would change my perception of free will. I think I would still think that I had 100% free will.
All right. Well, I suppose I should go through the study. Anyway, this was back in 2008. Basically, using functional MRIs, brain scanners, they can detect this exact decision, a person, deciding which hand to use. It's as much as 7 seconds before the person was consciously aware of making the decision, by patterns, by recognizing micro patterns of brain activity, basically suggesting that, I can just quote this guy. It says, your decisions are strongly prepared by brain activity. By the time consciousness kicks in, most of the work has already been done. Right? So it's like, how much are we really in charge if our subconscious is what's, doing all of the major work? Are we responsible for what our subconscious minds do?
But couldn't somebody just say our subconscious is part of our free will?
Yeah. You could say that, but it would be a different kind of a free will. I mean, there are a lot of subconscious things going on in the body, like homeostasis, pumping your blood, doing all sorts of things without conscious effort. If those things were to fail, if your heart fails for whatever reason, if one of these things fails, it's not because you're inept. It's not because you chose. You're a victim of this.
But I just think like, okay, so I've got a cup of coffee here and I'm deciding not to drink it. Like, I don't understand how that's not free will.
Right. Well, yeah, that seems to be the reason that the notion of free will persists as much as it does, because it just really seems like we have it.
Yeah. You think, you're of the opinion that we do not, correct? You think we don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of us, as opposed to having someone like, because what it feels like is that we're like a little person in the head that's taking in all of these sense impressions and all of this data and then deciding what to do with it.
Oh man, that's so confusing to me because I just can't, like, I've got tunnel vision right on the, well, I'm going to do this and I chose to do it. So, and it kind of makes me think about in that, okay, so if you go by that logic, and if I remember right, a few weeks back, you were talking about how we're all controlled by one thing, right? I can't remember what, I can't eloquently restate, what your opinion is on what.
Just that the entire universe is just one big thing. We think that we're all fundamentally separate pieces of it, but we're really all, it's all just one big thing.
So somebody who commits suicide, was that always meant to? Yeah,
I'm more or less a determinist.
Yeah.
I think it's mechanical interactions that we study, physics, chemistry, biology.
Yeah.
And the brain is no different. I think it's governed by all of these.
Yeah. If that person that committed suicide was happy, would they have done it anyway because it was already predetermined? Or would they not have done it?
It would have to be a cause for them to do that. So typically, if they were happy, then what was the cause?
For them to be happy?
For them to kill themselves.
Oh, gotcha.
A happy person commits suicide, it wouldn't meet the causal requirements, that we would generally assume, happy people don't kill themselves unless there's an underlying unhappiness.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if somebody made them do it.
Right, of course.
And if, in order for them to make them do it, they have to have free will. I can't believe I just won this argument. No, I'm just kidding. All I think is, I just think we have free will and I can't. It's just so, it's real confusing to me because, like you said, I don't know anything about it except for the fact that I can choose to drink a cup of coffee or not drink a cup of coffee. And I'm like, see, there you have it. Free will. Did you see what I did there?
No, I missed it.
No, I didn't hear you. I was looking down at my phone.
Oh, no, I put that away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, yeah, that is interesting. Well, if this is all true, if it's true, it really pisses me off. I hate the universe. So my dogs that destroyed my couch had no choice but to destroy my couch because the universe told them to. Mm-hmm. Well, that was cool, Scott. Are you going to, so you're going to have another one for next week? Another philosophical discussion?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you need to bring back your characters, too, Andrew.
Oh, you mean the guest callers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to start reaching out and see if people want to call in again. Martin Magnum, he was a real good sport. He obviously doesn't agree with you, but that was nice of him to let you interview him.
Real.
And he called you. When I heard the call, he called you darling. Did that offend you?
Oh no. I don't get offended by racist murderers, Andrew.
He's a racist murderer, still walking the streets, making phone calls on podcasts, and he's like wide open about it too, huh? He doesn't even care. Yeah, we'll start getting guest callers in. So our next guest that we're going to have on next week will be good friend of ours, Emily Padden.
She doesn't even know it yet, but we're pretty sure she'll have time.
Yeah, and if she doesn't, if she doesn't come on the show, we'll just I'll use my voice changer, and then I'll just play the part of her.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That'll get her maybe to want to come on.
And defend herself over the things that I said as her. And be like, no, Andrew, I would never, ever think that way. Yeah, that'll be cool. And then I wanted to implement a new segment every week where I come in and I bring in a kind of like a challenge that you and I both have to do. So this week I'll give you the challenge for next week, right? And then we'll both come in and we'll do it. So next week, I want each of us to prepare a presidential speech, and then you can when you come in next week, you can have it written down or typed out, and you can read off of it, but give it in your best presidential voice. And it can be State of the Union. You can be a wartime president where it's like a rally speech, anything like that. So, but you do your best presidential speech and then bring it in next week, and we'll both read them off and see how it goes.
What's the time? What is like 1 to 3 minutes?
I feel like in every movie I watch, good presidential speeches are about 3 minutes. So my favorite one of all time is the one from Independence Day with Bill Pullman. That one's great, man.
All right, I'll have to check them out. I'll have to get some pointers.
Yeah, the one from Armageddon's really good too.
The ones from Hollywood are way better than the real ones.
Yeah, I've never heard a real president give a good speech. They're all garbage.
That's true.
No, I like a lot of presidential speeches, but I like them in general. I always like stuff like that. I like just the whole, part of it's important to hear what they're saying, but for me, it's also theater. It's also, they got to, add emotion and give the right tone with what they're saying. So there's also, I'm doing air quotes here. There's acting to it too, which so I really enjoy presidential speeches, whether the person's a great speaker or not. I just enjoy them. I think they're cool. So we're gonna find out who is the most presidential on this show.
I'm gonna have to work hard on this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of tough. Yeah, I'm probably gonna. Mine's gonna be like super doom and gloom. That's what I want it to be.
Really?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, but I mean that sounds fun too.
Yeah, yeah. So from now on, every week we'll come in. I'll give a challenge, and we gotta come in and do it.
Okay.
All right. Well, that does it for episode number 6. Kind of unfortunate that Bill couldn't finish it out with us, but I know he'll want to come back in the future. I know he really enjoyed it. He was telling us through text that he wants to come back, so we'll have him back.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to getting Emily Padney on here next week.
Yeah, and she doesn't even know it. She doesn't even know what she's in for.
Just have to bully her into it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited to hear your presidential speech. That's going to be awesome.
I just hope it, isn't dwarfed by yours. I'm sure yours is going to be great, Andrew.
I'm even going to change my voice. I kind of want to do like I think Richard Nixon had a great voice for speeches.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. I mean, you having that voice box gives you an advantage. So,
yeah. Well, the cool thing, even if you do yours, and since you don't have a voice changer or anything like that, I could still change it at the end. So I may put a female voice over your presidential speech.
Thanks, Andrew. I know I can always count on you.
Yeah, no problem, Scott. So, yeah, man, thanks for doing this episode with me. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it. Talk to you next week.
Yep. See you, Scott.